like to call to order the town board. Oops. As we pause and wait for Gibby. Sorry about that, Gib. The most important man in the house.
The camera.
No way. The man behind the camera. You're not fooling anybody. I'd like to call to order the Township board meeting. Yes, sir.
It's hot. You're good now.
Okay, thank you, Gibby. Clerk, please call the roll. Please. No.
Trustee Holmes?
Here.
Trustee Farson?
Here.
Trustee McDowell?
Here.
Trustee Fisher?
Here.
Chairman Neal?
I am here. Mr. Bremner, would you mind leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance, sir?
Please join in the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. All right. Are there any agenda changes this evening? Hearing none, is there a motion to accept the agenda as written? Well, it'll be part of the corrections.
I'll just introduce it as part of the bills.
Okay.
So I move to accept the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Motion second. Any discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Holmes?
Aye.
Trustee Farson?
Aye.
Trustee McDowell?
Aye.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Chairman Neal?
Aye. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting held on July 21st, 2020 at 6:15 p.m. Is there a motion? Is there a motion to accept the minutes? Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? I do have here two, I emailed them to you, Cheryl?
Yeah, they're already done.
It's already part of it. Okay, just the minutes that you received, there were just two. Trustee McDowell asked if someone currently taking sources, it was courses, can, and then just a correction, it was according to the Township code, and it was actually the Township guide. So I just asked Cheryl to make those corrections. So that was a little kind of important, but I don't want anybody thinking like I'm quoting code when I'm not. So, any other discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Holmes?
Aye.
Trustee Farson?
Aye.
Trustee McDowell?
Aye.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Chairman Neal?
Aye. Are there any citizens' comments tonight? There are. Welcome. Come on up.
Well, hi.
Hi.
I'm back to follow up on my comments 2 months ago about the township assessor. Okay, so I'm still unhappy about the last quadrennial assessment, where the assessed value of commercial property in Zion Township dropped by about $300,000. Gina Roberts and I spoke with Mr. Wicketts about this. What we learned is that commercial property is assessed by sales of the property. I believe Mr. Wickett said there were only 10 property sales in the prior year, and that wasn't enough for him to formulate an assessment increase. He felt that commercial properties could not bear the extra burden. So I'm glad that feelings matter in assessments. I agree, 10 properties are probably not enough to extrapolate a new assessment value, but by the same token, 10 properties are not enough to project a declining economy, especially when 8 of the 10 properties were sold for a pretty healthy profit. And these decisions were pre-COVID. Maybe that wasn't enough to make a large adjustment, but I think an inflationary increase would have been fair. It's my opinion that there should be equity between residential and commercial, and one shouldn't bear the burden for the other. It shouldn't be lopsided. When I asked Mr. Wicketts if the chief county assessor had tools which the township assessor could use, the answer was no. That's not true. The chief county assessor has a suite of computer tools. It's called IAS World by Tyler Technologies. which township assessors may use. These tools include property details, mapping, imagery data, choice of cost, market, and income approach to valuations. They can do statistical modeling, such as regression and neighborhood analytics. They reduce manual processes and help move towards a paperless office. With this tool, it is possible to rebuild a structure from the ground up, to assign values, calculate depreciation, and equalize neighborhoods. So I'm asking, when you appoint the next assessor, I hope that is someone who is willing and able to make use of technology, who's willing to learn from the chief county assessor, and willing to listen to the trustees about the economic climate of Zion, to take the whole picture in account. If in the future there's a referendum to make the township assessor an appointed position rather than an elected one, I'm completely on board. I'd like to see accountability and fairness in assessments. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments this evening? No other comments?
And just for the record, I did actually follow up after you came to the meeting and talked to the assessor and got much of the same information. It was at that point a little far removed, and the books were getting ready to be turned in, and any discrepancies at that point would be taken up by the county if they thought that it was out of range or negligent. However, given some of the feedback and the information that you provided, those were part of the questions that we used to assess the candidates for the new assessor. So, thank you.
Thank you for following up on that. There's no other comments. We'll move on to item 7, authorized bills for payment. Trustee Fisher.
Yes. Chairman Neal and I met yesterday and went over the financials, and thanks to Trustee Frierson, even with our multiple eyes, we overlooked a line item that was in the worksheets. And so I am going to submit an amount for total bills, a revised amount of $129,144.42.
Second.
Any discussion?
Do you want to talk about the missing item?
All right, just to share, so the discrepancy, the difference between the posted agenda and what we had in the line items, the accountant, we actually contract our accounting services, and the grant expenses for the CHIRP funds, which is a brand new expense, was inadvertently left off the listing. So it was in the check register, but it was not listed in the operating expenses under the general assistance. So we have since added that line item, and actually kudos to Trustee Frierson. He actually, our business manager, connected him with our accountant, and they worked it out to figure out what the discrepancy was. So thank you very much, because enough eyes. Everybody has strengths.
But I guess I was also saying to that point, that is funds from the county that's helping residents with utilities, or is it mortgages or both?
So these funds are helping, they're ending up being, I would say, probably 99% helping with rent. And there is funding for utilities as well, but that's a lot more complicated, and we have other resources to be able to help with the rent or with the utility assistance. And just so everybody knows, so this CHIRP funding that the county got from the federal government, there's 3 things that they can cover. They can cover the rental assistance up to 3 months, and there's a lot of requirements that our case managers are having to work with. Utility assistance, and again, there's a lot of requirements. And then they're reimbursing for expenses of our case managers. So they're like reimbursing the time that our case managers spend. That to me feels like double dipping. I mean, our taxes are already covering our case managers to assist our residents in every way that we can. And we don't have other agencies reimbursing us for doing, the paperwork and stuff to access resources for our residents. So our office is not submitting reimbursement for the time spent. We are just trying to maximize the funds 100% to be able to help the residents. So just so that everybody knows that, if there's a question about that. Cool. And then let me just check to see if there's any other questions, because you, just in case. So one of the other questions was about the phone stipend, and just so everybody knows, we have always provided for the township staff a $35 phone stipend to help cover their cell phone for two reasons. One, so that I can reach them at any time, and two, a majority of the clientele that we help, although we don't look at their past and help them to just move forward with their future, there's still some risk, and it's all women in our office, so making sure that they have access to their cell phone to do that, that's always felt like the most responsible thing to do. And then as far as mileage, one of the questions was, with COVID going on, why would there be mileage expense? And all through COVID, I have been delivering Meals on Wheels, so I've been expensing the mileage for delivering Meals on Wheels with filling in for that, as well as going to pick up donated masks and those types of things, so I put that on my expense report. And then let me answer that one. Got that one. And then the other I will share later on. That's it. Any other questions? Just to share, and it is sort of part of it, Trustee Holmes had asked me specifically about, in the budget, the disaster relief funds and what we spend those funds on separate from general assistance. So in the general assistance fund, we have general assistance that helps individuals, and that's long-term case management. So we meet with them every month, and we help them to either get back into the workforce or on disability, whichever one they fit in. Then we have emergency assistance to help individuals with a one-time, once every 18 months, and it's a step-down program with an emergency. And then for individuals that don't qualify for those funds, but they're still in a crisis, we have under a separate fund that we are allowed to use. It's not as complicated as it sounds. We have a disaster relief fund. And so last year we had $2,000 in that line item, and Trustee Holmes just was curious to what exactly we use those funds for. And so I'll just read this to you. Last year, Zion Township was able to assist 5 families with disaster relief funds within the $2,000 budget line item. Families were approved from 2 to 7 days of stay at a local motel or at the Inn at Market Square Hotel. During this time, shelter was not available for families to stay. Every situation was unique, and families were not assisted with emergency assistance because they did not meet the requirements. So if you're getting TANF or if you're on disability, different situations like that, you don't qualify for emergency assistance. And so of the 5 families, 2 out of the 5 families were referred to Zion Township by the police department, and situations were related to a crime. Therefore, the family was not able to stay in their apartment. Both families were on housing, and there was a plan for permanent housing, but in the meantime, they needed immediate shelter. So the 3rd family, they lost their home in a fire. They received assistance through Red Cross, but they ran out of funds before finding a permanent place to stay. The 4th family, the referral came from the city of Zion. The family's apartment was red tagged by the city due to the gas service being off. Zion Township worked with the residents to help out getting the service restored as well. And then the 5th family, the situation was that the apartment building where the family was staying was sold, and the new landlord refused to sign a new lease for the tenant. She was given a 60-day notice, at which vigorously she was looking for a new place to live, but ran out of time, and she had nowhere to go. She found a place, but needed another week for the place to be ready. Other Lake County agencies were working with the family to find a place to stay, and Zion Township was part of the solution to help the family with permanent housing and pay for a week's stay. So, and just this line item was increased to $6,000 this year because of COVID, but I'm fairly confident that that won't be necessary because of the grants we've been able to get with that funding. We will also have access to funding to help with mortgages. We are not going for that grant. My staff is already completely overburdened with it, but we have 2 agencies that will have the funding for mortgages that we will be working very closely with to be able to help residents that are homeowners. I'm really excited about that because that was a huge gap. So did that answer your questions, Tracy?
Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. And then the other question that Trustee Holmes had was in regards to, we do a monthly payment to Dial-A-Ride. And she had asked like how it stacks up, how it's going, and just so that everyone knows, Zion Township, we have had, and this report is only from January to May, we have had 224 riders from January until May. And so the total pay subsidy that they provide is close to $5,000, and we pay, what is it, $500 some dollars a month. Wait a minute, that's not true. Total service cost, here we go. Total service cost is $10,261, and then the local share is $4,630. So, and the local share is between Zion Township and Benton Township. So Pay Style Ride is a program where they will actually do curb to curb for individuals that need that assistance, and you just need to call, and I think it costs 80 cents or $1.60. It's very reasonable, and they provide in Zion transportation 3 days a week, and then 2 days a week they will go to Gurnee and Waukegan.
Are those numbers per year, 10,000 and 4,000,
No, those numbers are just from January to May.
3 months,
January, February, March, April, May.
5 months?
Yeah, 5 months. Cool. So definitely, I asked my staff if they had had any current complaints, and they said no, but the complaint and the frustration over and over again is that the bus service does not go out to Walmart. And that's a huge thing, but we've been working on that for years, trying to get them to do that. But it's like a balloon. You push in, it just they can't figure out a way to get the buses to be able to make it all the way out to Kmart. And then, because if they do, then they're late getting back to Waukegan, the hub, where everybody has to be there at the exact same time so that they can do the transfers to move forward. But if anybody has any ideas on how we can get them to rethink that we have so many residents, especially out in the apartment buildings and in Laurel Acres, that would love to have access to the bus service. So, okay, sorry for derailing the finance. Cheryl's like, can we just approve the finances? But it's all part of the finances. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Holmes?
Aye.
Trustee Ryerson?
Aye.
Trustee McDowell?
Aye.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Chairman Neal?
Aye. Next item on the agenda is consider approval of elected officials' compensation. Just so everybody knows, so the next election is going to be in April 2021, and you have to set the salary 6 months before the election, so that you're not actually technically setting your own salaries, you're setting the salaries for the next board that's coming in. And since 2012, I have requested that we keep the salaries frozen, and I would like to continue that request, that everything stay frozen, and just share what frozen is. My current salary is $87,385 per year. That also covers a portion of my health insurance, which is $11,227.80, and IMRF, which is our retirement, which is $12,716.30. So my total compensation for benefits and everything is $111,329.10. The assessor's position, and this is with the current assessor, it will change, but as far as what's paid for health insurance and IMRF, I believe. But the assessor's current salary is $84,503. The health insurance is $13,826.52. The IMRF is $12,297.15 for a total of $110,626.67. And just in most cases, people don't usually share the benefits, but I think it's really important to be transparent and share like this is everything that we get, so that everybody knows that. And to be quite honest, I didn't know that it was that much. When she showed it to me, I was really surprised myself. So. And then the finance trustee, who is currently Trustee Fisher, his annual salary is $2,300 a year. And then the three trustees together, and let me divide it out because it's
$1,900.
Thank you. Okay, good. Each of the other trustees get $1,900 for the year to serve as a township trustee. And then our township clerk gets $11,120 a year to serve as our township clerk. So, and then as well, just so that you know, that everybody's staff pays 10% for their insurance as well as a portion for their IMRF. So it's both of those aren't covered 100%. We all put in for that. So, that said, is there a motion to accept the recommendation for compensation for 2021 through 2025?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Holmes?
Aye.
Trustee Ryerson?
Aye.
Trustee McDowell?
Aye.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Chairman Neal?
All right. Assessor's report. I was told he sent one, but it never came to me. Did anybody get it? Oh, sure.
Did you miss,
What's that?
did you miss item 9? Number 9?
Oh, geez, I just saw assessor. Thank you.
Very important.
Okay, let's do item 9. Item 9, consider approval of assessor appointment. We had 2 interviews last evening and discussion following that, and would somebody like to make, yeah.
Sure. I'll make the motion for the appointment for the assessor. Again, we had 2, I don't know if we're disclosing candidates. Well,
No.
Yeah.
So Ms. Davis, Ms. Colette Davis, would be my recommendation for our appointment for assessor.
I'll second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? I just want to, in the pre-work, I just, I've known Colette a while, right, and seen the work that she's done, and I know that her background in the mortgage industry and the financial industry is solid, right? So she brings a lot of wisdom to this position. She also brings huge heart. From the moment she leaned in the community, she actually got snatched by Angel Jackson, who used to work for the school district, and shared with about the Zion Benton Leadership Academy. It was the inaugural year, and Colette signed up, and she never quit. 2012, she and Jaquanda Nelson were graduates, and they stayed involved and ran it, and then Jaquanda left. It's still, I'm holding the space. She's going to someday be our mayor and come back, so she's amazing too. And Colette has held the space for building leadership in this community in just an incredible way, with no request for compensation, nothing back. She just desperately wanted to be a part of making the community better. And knowing her heart and her passion for working collectively and collaboratively to address really tough situations and topics, and taxes is a really tough situation and topic in our community. And so that you are going to be on the team and leading the conversations on how we can do that. I am so humbled and so honored that you care enough about our community, that you would go through all of these hoops to be willing to step up as our assessor, because it's a very critical, as Kathy Champagne shared, it's really critical to have somebody with integrity and somebody that's smart to do that position. And I don't believe there's a better person for this position than you, Ms. Colette. So, yeah. So, with that, clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Holmes?
Capital A-Y-E. Aye.
Trustee Ryerson?
Aye.
Trustee McDowell?
Aye.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Chairman Neal?
Aye.
Congratulations.
Second, Jackie, so much. So I've spoken with Ms. Davis, and the next steps would be that at the September board meeting, we will do the official swearing in. That will be on September 15th, and she will...
You can't swear her in until
Oh.
after Larry's gone.
Oh, okay, that's what I was asking last night.
Yeah.
You said that we could do it any time.
After he's retired.
Gotcha. Okay, so that said, Colette will begin working in the office on September 15th, or September 16th. Sorry about that. She will have 1 week with Larry and the team before Larry officially retires on the 23rd. And so then immediately following, we can schedule something, and we'll share that at the board meeting, maybe to do an official event to celebrate you. Sound good? Would you like to come up and share anything?
Good evening. I just want to say thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm really excited, super excited, and looking forward to, as you said, just diving in and seeing how I can be of service to the community and really try to make a difference as much as I can. And thank you all so much.
Take a drink and fizzle up. I'm just so proud of you, Colette. I can't even say anything. And proud of our community for like keeping leaders like you engaged. So thank you. That said, we'll move on to the assessor's report. And so this is what the assessor emailed over. Assessments were published on July 30th. All appeals for the township will need to be filed online through the Lake County website. Office staff have started to work on submitted appeals. We are in the process of updating our telecommunication system, telephones, headsets, computer cameras, etc. These upgrades are necessary due to Lake County hearings, in-person or telephone, being conducted through Zoom meetings. Zion Township Assessor's Office remains closed to the public, but staff is in the office and available via phone to answer any questions regarding assessments. The Zion Township Senior Citizens Assessment freeze veterans with disabilities and persons with disabilities annual exemption renewals. The state has enacted legislation to automatically renew exemptions for the tax year 2020 if the taxpayer had the exemption in 2019. The only instance where an application must be made is for the first-time applicants or if there has been a change in the disabled veteran's disability rating. I would like to thank Officer Letitia Thornton for assistance in locating the person who threatened to burn the building down on Thursday, July 30th, and Officer Justin Norman for his assistance in locating the person who vandalized my truck on August 3rd. Okay, and I will be returning my telephone and office keys from part-time employees to Cheryl Spooner on September 21st. Okay, so that is the assessor's report. Are there any questions? Comments? Okay, and then supervisor's report. A few things just to share. Let me get some of this stuff out of here so I know what's left. So Zion Township, we serve this grant. I talked to Adriana at the end of the day today. We actually have 102 families that have reached out for assistance with the COVID-19 funding. We have 11 calls we have to return yet. So that says a lot for my team with keeping up, because it's not just returning a call. There's like so much work, and being able to track, because what we do is through DocuSign we send out the applications to people, and then they have to get all of the different documents in line and send them back in. And so people are sending in documents like one at a time. So trying to like keep track of each each file and where they're at with it, and then people drop off, and so reaching back out to them and saying, where are you at, what's got you, because sometimes people think, well, I couldn't get this, so I figured I didn't qualify. And so we're following back up with them to say, no, let's rethink this. What else can we do to be able to help them? So it is incredibly chaotic, to say the least, but the team is working really hard on that, and also the other partnerships. It's so it's just really rewarding to be able to have my team, even though they're spending an hour, 2 hours working on one case, but we've got so many incredible partners at the table that we don't have to like send anybody away and say, because what we used to say was, we can help with the last 400. So if somebody they owe $1,200 on their rent. Farmers Market coupon booklets, even though we don't have the Farmers Market in Zion, there are a list of communities that are still holding their farmers markets. So there's income requirements. I can email out the applications. We also have them at the front desk if any seniors over the age of 60 would like one. What we've got, NNTs did Catholic Charities did a distribution at NNTs, but I reached out to Catholic Charities and asked if I could get some booklets in the office, and they said when I get applications. So I really tried, but so they said that to have the seniors get us the applications, and as many applications as we get in, they will drop off the coupon booklets to our office. So that was the best we could do. So if anybody is interested in that, swing by the office or shoot me an email, and we can get that to you. Or it's easiest to remember, info@ziontownship.org, to be able to get that information. And then I'll jump to this stuff. So Zion Township is open to assist residents, just so everybody knows. We are open 8:30 to 4:30, like our regular schedule. Wednesdays, we're closed for staff meeting from 8:30 until 9:30. Next Wednesday, we are going to be closed in the morning. I'm doing an in-service with my team. We went to the Global Leadership Summit, and there was just a lot of really powerful realizations that my team had that I think is going to help us to work even better together, which is hard to believe. But I really want to create that space to like work that through with them so that we can move that to the next level. So we'll be doing that work. But other than that, we're open. We're not broadcasting it because there's so many calls and so much going on. But we are open and available if anybody comes to the window. And then we did that. We did that. Did that. So just to share, Zion Township's website. I am so excited about this. We have been working on this in the office, and so this is our current website. I think I put this in your guys' packets, and this is going to be our new website. And it is so easy to navigate, and it really shares. We've been working really hard on the messaging so that residents can have a better idea exactly what we do so that they can navigate it, pictures, and really, really proud of the effort that my team has done to do this well. So that should be happening this week. There were a number of things that they had to do to switch it over. So Zion Township, we're in the process of establishing a landlord list. Worked with Brian Klassman, who's in charge of the Landlord Association group, and then combing through our files to any of the landlords that we've assisted in the last couple of years to get that list together. So we would be more than happy to share that with the city if the city needs.
I was going to ask if you had cross-checked with the building department. They should have some kind of records.
David told me that the city does not have
landlord records?
Does not have landlord list.
Okay.
So, yeah, so we're starting from scratch. So if you guys will need that, that would be fine. And then also just to share, Zion Township has been tagged with graffiti 3 times. We've had the police over there. We're working, they know who the individual is. We're working on using our Ring cameras, which kudos to Mike McDowell, who told me don't go with a company, just get the Ring cameras, and I nearly had my hair looking like his through the process. But the coverage and the footage is incredible. That you can zoom in for different things. So hoping that we have something that can help to stop that work. So, and then August 22nd, Christian Faith Fellowship is doing a food distribution. It is their last one. They are no longer going to have their food pantry. And so they're doing they're going to have extra stuff, but they'll be distributing. That will be going out in our weekly email, that flyer, if anybody wants that information. So just to share that, and just to say out loud, really appreciate the partner that Christian Faith Fellowship Church has been with the food pantries. They've worked really hard for a very long time at serving that need in the community. And I'm really grateful that we have Abiding Love Food Pantry and North Point Church, or now I think they're called The Point Food Pantry, to go under and fill that need in that work, along with Meals on Wheels, Catholic Charities Meals on Wheels. It's really a good program. So, and then last but not least, Zinnias for Zion is in full bloom. We are going to be having so Jubilee Days, it was voted to not have Jubilee Days, but it is our goal to have a Zinnias for Zion Flower Festival the Saturday of Jubilee Days every year. And we got that cleared with the Jubilee Days committee. And so what we decided was that the show would go on with what we're doing with that. So on Saturday, September 5th, just from 11 until 1 o'clock, at Zion Township. Gibby, I will text it to you. We are going to have the mural christening. So Elena Lopez finished the mural. So I asked her to hold off on autographing it. We would be doing that. We are going to be doing the award celebration for the best yard and the best coloring contest, as well as the Art Beat of Zion's first annual chalk contest. And I didn't check the city to see if there's an ordinance about it, so I'm hoping I'm safe. I better check. It does. But what if it doesn't? Anyway, sorry, that wasn't appropriate. And then as well, awarding some of the 3 of the neighborhoods that have been nominated for Zion Together Neighborhood. So North Shore Gas actually donated $1,000 for us to get 50 signs to go up in the neighborhoods, and we're working with Ray and Vic in the street department to make sure that those can go up as neighborhoods come together and are nominated to be a Zion Together neighborhood. So we'll share more information about that next month. We're really excited about that. It keeps morphing. It was 2 high school kids, Chris Castellanos and Ronald Pipes, that put this project together. It started out as a competition, and it slowly evolved into you don't have to do something to get awarded. You have to be recognized for doing things. And so if you live in a neighborhood that is doing things, coming together and working together, especially during COVID, shoot me an email at Zion Township, and I would love to talk to you and recognize your neighborhood as a Zion Together neighborhood. And part of that is you get a sign for your neighborhood, everybody gets a T-shirt, and then other things as we move forward with this with the project. So one step at a time. And then one last thing that I'll be bringing up at the next board meeting. One of the situations that I'm coming up against is vacation. So my staff has vacation, and because of the situation with everything going on, nobody's felt like they could take a vacation because there's just too much. And so they're trying to do like one day here, one day there. But what I'm going to be recommending for this year only, and it would probably bump us over budget, is that they can cash in their vacation for full pay. To be able to do that because it's causing them more stress trying to figure out how they're going to do vacation, and I feel like to be able to reward them financially for their dedication to helping the Zion residents would be as rewarding. So I'm pushing them to do some vacation as well, but Adriana's been with me 15 years, so she's got a little bit of vacation, and they were like, well, can't we roll it over to next year? And I was like, absolutely not, right? Because I don't want them gone even more next year. So it seemed like the best way to have a win-win situation. So if anybody has any questions or concerns about that, I'd love to have you reach out to me and we can talk about it at the next meeting. Cool. So is there anything else to come before the board? Yes, Ms. Liu.
Y'all know me. I'm a help everybody else person.
Yes, you are.
And a few years ago, when I was still working, and I lived paycheck to paycheck, and you rob Peter to pay Paul to pay your bills, and you just can't handle something bad that happens. My car stopped working, and we got it off of 41 at rush hour behind the shanty, and that night someone came and cut out my catalytic converter. Those are not cheap, and I didn't have money for it, and I didn't know what I was going to do, and we had a funeral that we were at Condon's, and I was talking to Frank about it, and Jerry walked up behind me and she said, you come and see me at the township. And that was a hard thing to do when you're the one that tries to help everybody else. And they helped me with a couple of bills within the guidelines and everything, so that I was able to get my catalytic converter, and I was able to keep my head just to here instead of to here. And there was no judgment. You had to meet with the financial guy. He was the nicest thing that ever was. I never felt like anybody was putting me down because I had to have some help. So I want everybody to know it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to let somebody help you. And one of the best places to do it is Sherry's crew. It helped me at a really hard time, and I can't thank you enough. I will never forget it, and that's a lot of why I try to help. My parents taught me that, and I try to help when I can. So just because you're the helper doesn't mean sometimes you don't need help too.
Amen. Thank you so much, Lil. Miss Kathy Champagne.
Quick question. Weren't you going to ask the trustees to help underwrite your art project?
No.
Oh, I thought you said you would at the last council meeting, that you'd present it to the trustees.
Well, no. Actually, and I can share it at the board meeting. So I was speaking before Rotary the next morning, And so I brought it to Rotary, and we had an individual that actually funded reprinting 5 of the signs so that we could do it within the city's ordinance.
Oh, that's great.
So yes.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. So really quick, one of the things that Lou brought up was the financial class. And just to remind and to inform anybody that receives emergency assistance through Zion Township, we have a partnership with Community Partners for Affordable Housing. And they provide a finance class that is now online. It's a Zoom class that anybody can take. It's thorough, and they talk about some of the different pitfalls that people are falling through right now. And we have had 100% positive feedback from individuals that have taken the program. It's one of those topics that you're embarrassed to say you don't know. And so mandating that people actually take that program and just to help them a little bit. But one of the disconnects that we had was that it was only in English. And we have a number of residents that come to us and they only speak Spanish. And so Community Partners was willing to do it. They have staff that speak Spanish, but their program was all in English. And they were willing to meet with them one-on-one, but that was the best they could do. And so I reached out to the gal in charge of the program, and I asked her what was stopping them from having a class in Spanish. And she was like, Sherry, we don't have the capacity to translate the program, the PowerPoint program. And so I asked Adriana Ortiz, our administrative assistant. She is so good at translation. She blows my mind. And so I reached out to her and asked if she might be willing to do it, and she was giddy. She was so excited. And so within a week, Community Partners had it updated. She helped with the forms, and they now offer the class in Spanish as well. So if anybody is interested in Trustee Fryerson, you had asked specifically, if you go online to Community Partners for Affordable Housing, you can actually sign up and take the class so that you can see what it is that's being offered. And if you see anything that you think that they can do to improve it, they are always open to feedback. So yeah, I've taken it, and into the Zoom one, I did it when they were at the Township. I went in and sat in on the program, as well as 2 of my staff. So 2 of the 5 of us have taken the program. So cool. And you don't need financial assistance to take that program. Anybody can sign up and do it. It's free. Zion Township provides a stipend to them every year to be able to provide that. So, and just a couple of things. If you haven't had a chance, the Town Sound has featured. It's a featured article on Seth Schultz, who was the young man, the 7-year-old that drowned in Lake Michigan, and they own Healthy Yums. So if you get a chance to read, it's just a really incredible celebration of his life in that magazine, and just keeping their family in prayer for that. And then last but not least, so we are going to be doing the judging for the Zinnia Yards the week of August 28th. So the last day to submit a recommendation for us, or a nomination for a Zinnia Yard, is August 27th. And if you just go to zinniasforzion.com, you can just put in the address and it'll get added to the list, and the judges will drive around and check those out. So if you don't, it doesn't have to be your yard. If you're driving through Zion and you see a yard, you're like, oh, look at that yard, like Lou's or Ginny Adams or Elena Lopez. There's so many yards that are just gorgeous. You can email us. You can text me if you have my cell phone number. Anybody to share that address, and we will add it to the list. So there's 3 areas that we judge: people's homes, businesses, and the adopted sites, like the Welcome to Zion signs, Park District, the different areas. So really encourage individuals to submit nominations, as well as the coloring contest. So the coloring contest will end that day as well. You can get the coloring pages on zinniasforzion.com as well. So we've got some incredible colored pictures. We don't have a lot of adult submissions yet, just so you know, and we have every age. It's a competition for everybody. And so hoping people will do that. And if you're interested, join us on September 5th from 11 until 1 over at Zion Township. Is there anything else to come before the board? Did I talk too much?
You don't have to fill all the time.
I didn't. Look at this. We're doing good.
You don't have to try to fill the time.
I know. No. And what that means is, yes, you talk too much. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion and second. Any discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Holmes?
Aye.
Trustee Ferguson?
Aye.
Trustee McDowell? Aye. Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Chairman Neal?
Aye. Meeting adjourned.